And we're back with the season 2, episode 3, with the reigning, defending gladiator champion from IWE, Cody Leedy.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Good
Great
to be here
tune.
on a Tuesday afternoon with you, Matt and Scott. Huge Pop Podcast. Wouldn't be anywhere else.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on, man.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And I'm already showing my prep. I have a page of notes that I left in my bag. Just 1 second.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my gosh. So, IWE Gladiator Champion, right?
Oh, yeah, but a little over a year now. Last year, Heritage Days, defeated Trevor Stroud in a guitar on a pole match to win that title.
Nice.
Drop toe hold. The most effective drop toe hold in professional wrestling. I lay claim. Yeah.
Now, was that Heritage Days? I used to live up in Harrison. They used to put that on at Mid-Michigan Community College. Is that where it's at now, or?
This was at this was up in Mayo,
Okay.
Mayo Heritage by Oscoda.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not as familiar with that area. Yeah, this was up by Oscoda.
Awesome, man. Congratulations on a year ago. Drop, pull, take down, and win a championship.
Thank you.
So let's start off with the basics, getting to know you as not only you, but the character you are. When did you become a wrestling fan?
Oh, boy. It's hard to pinpoint it exactly. I mean, even as a young kid, I was always kind of vaguely a fan. Like, I was born in 91, so, like, I was a young kid around the Attitude Era. So, like, I'd always kind of vaguely know, like, oh, Goldberg, Steve Austin, Sting. I'd say about the time I started really sinking my teeth into it is about 2002-ish. You know, it's something me and my dad kind of bonded over. And, yeah, I just became a hardcore fan about it, and it never really stopped. Watching everything I could every week, and I still do to an extent. I never stopped being a fan.
So, who was your favorite growing up? Like, who was your all-time favorite? Like, who's the guy? Be like, that's the guy. That's the guy I want to be like. That's like.
Ooh. See, that's really tough because, like, I try not to like. If I say something, oh, this guy's my favorite, like 2 days later, I'm like, but like I didn't bring up this guy, and I wasn't even thinking that. My knee-jerk reaction, because of the time I became a fan, and I really liked Eddie Guerrero, because to me, Eddie Guerrero wasn't a big guy, but he was larger than life. Everything he did looked big. Even going back, studying his stuff, it all holds up. Really one of the greatest of my time anyways. That's taken in a lot of territory, but yeah, I really enjoy Eddie Guerrero if I had to pick.
I mean, I think if you I do a lot of stuff on TikTok and in social media, and there's a lot of people who do love Eddie and just absolutely just love and take inspiration from him. And it doesn't surprise me that someone of your talent level has like.
Oh, and everybody steals this stuff too. I mean, everybody steals everybody's stuff in wrestling, but you see it a lot, especially the spot, with the behind the ref's back with this chair making the noise, toss it. What?
Yeah.
Who did? What? Like, I see that spot all the time. I've done it a few times. So like, See, that was the cool thing about Eddie. Like, not only could he put on like a technical 5-star Dave Meltzer 30-minute Tokyo Dome classic, he can do all that stuff, but like he can switch the gears and be funny, and he can be dramatic. You know, he's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I really like the guys that can do a little bit of everything.
Have you been in the business 10 years?
Oh, that's how long me. 2008 is when I started breaking in with a company called MWO, the Michigan Wrestling Organization. There's a few guys in IWE now that came from there. I don't want to say like with me as a group or anything, but like there's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? There's a lot of hints of MW. Oh, pardon me, that's my cat chirping. But yeah, a lot of MWO guys that started there kind of came over to IWE. Oh, yeah, oh, my cat has a lot to say about that. Yes, Paul. Sorry about that.
So that kind of brings me into the next question. So that's where you were trained, and that's where.
Yeah. The Michigan Wrestling. When I started with them, they're around the Flint, Michigan area at a venue called Terry's Lounge. That's where I became a fan and started watching their shows. As a fan, I was about 16. Started inquiring, be like, hey, I think I can, learn a little bit. Some guys were showing me some things, and stuck around, learned more and more from people that knew what they're doing, got a good foundation to get out there, have some matches, get some experience. Pretty unconventional way of breaking in, but it's been working for me so far.
All right, Scott.
So, my part of this job is to dig deeper into you and IWE. So I do that, and I sent some mass messages out, and then I got an anonymous person message me on Facebook last night, and they wanted you to hear what they said. Okay. Speaking of someone who is part of the locker room, I am, among others, truly believe that Cody is an incredible role model. He is a huge part in why the shows run so as smoothly as they do. Cody Leedy, inside and outside of the ring, is a leader in that locker room. He truly embodies the term GOAT. I have someone like him on the roster is incredible. His attitude and work ethic is the best one ever seen in the locker room. Cody Leedy is the IWE GOAT. I will not tell you where I got that from. I did get that message. I read it word for word.
Wow. First of all, that means a lot. Hearing that, I honestly, I just take it as an approach. I show up and try my hardest, and whatever company I'm with, whether it's MWO or IWE, I try to put myself in the shoes of like, okay, if this was my company, like what would I try to be as useful as possible and do what I can. If I'm wow, that was a lot to take. That means a lot. That means a lot because I don't aspire to be a role model or anything like that. I just try, if I'm leading by example, great. I just really care about the product that we're putting out. I really care about IWE. When it's time to set up the ring, I am so OCD about how that stuff goes together. And because to me, I'm the one, wrestlers, we're the ones bumping around and we're the ones taking stuff in the ring. And I've seen some rings that look kind of janky, and me, like, if I'm risking my stuff in there, I want to know what I'm bumping on, and I feel safer knowing what I have to be hands-on about stuff. I think that's just ultimately what it comes down to. I try to, be laid back, and, wrestling is everyone's escape. We're there to have fun, and that includes behind the scenes. What you see in the ring, we're all just there to have fun and have a good time. And I try to remember that.
Well, you made an impression on the locker room for sure by the sounds of it. So
Wow, that's crazy. Like I'm still kind of taken back by that. That's nuts to hear because I don't aspire to be like that at all. I'm just doing my best, man.
I mean,
my hat goes off to you, man.
That's cool to hear. Thank you.
I'm always one who I've always said that you guys do something that I can't, or I don't have I'm not brave enough to make that jump. Like I never made that jump because I didn't think I was going to be that I could succeed at that. And you guys go out there and you risk your health and your life every time you go out there, and that to me is amazing for our entertainment. You know what I mean? Like that says a lot about you guys, and I'm just thankful that we get to escape with you into the characters that you guys present. And I'm gonna let you. I don't know if you remember. We were I went to my first IWE show at that the 10-year anniversary show.
Okay.
And you took a picture with my kid, and that's all he talked about for like a week.
That's awesome.
He's like,
I really like that I get to be a part of cool experiences like that because that's what it's all about to me. Like, whatever's going on in the real world, like it doesn't matter when you're at a wrestling show or watching a wrestling program. Like, to me, that's what it's all about, is creating those moments that like last and, are going to remember it. Like, to even be a small part of any of that world like that, truly honored. And you say, like, you don't have the guts. I don't have the guts to do what you do, like to get on camera and host the podcast. And like, no, like I'm sweating, like I'm sweating bullets here. That like I can go out and wrestle and be a goof. Like this actual talking to a camera thing. This is so props to you guys. You guys are doing crazy stuff I can't do.
Listen, I'm just a loud mouth at the microphone. That's all I am. I am Paul Heyman, but not as articulate. I'm just a loud mouth with a microphone. That's all I am.
Hey, you're serving a purpose.
As far as the podcast goes, I agree with you. The first one was hard. I'll tell you a story. Matt was on the podcast. It was Wildcat Chris Harris. We were supposed to have him on. Okay, so yes, sweating bullets. Hell yes. Things didn't run right. Trust me, it was bad. I was sweating bullets. That was one of our first podcasts. But then you realize why are you doing this? For me, my wife and I take care of 8 kids in a foster home. And
thank you.
Seriously, that's awesome. This is my release. This is my escape from reality. And to spend an hour behind the camera with anybody, you, a brother, is like I forget about reality but in an hour I gotta go back to reality. But for you to let me escape to hear your stories, dude, it makes it that much easier.
That's really cool, man. Like I said, that's what it's all about. Like that's what keeps me going. That's why I do what I do. Like I'm not a big famous name. I don't pretend I am, but like to me, if I can be a small part of wrestling fans being able to escape, like we're a crazy tribe of people, like wrestling fans, like we argue with each other all the time, but we love this so much. Like the atmosphere at a wrestling show, like, just speaking for me, promoting my own brand, the atmosphere at an IWE show and the energy, like it's like a drug.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the cat agrees.
Yes.
So we talked about Eddie being one of your favorites and your favorite growing up and all that. Is that where you draw your inspiration from, or is there someone now that is in the business that you draw from more than the other? Like, is there someone that you're like, all right, I got to try something like that, or?
See, the thing with Eddie Guerrero, every time I'm like, ooh, I am nowhere near the athlete that Eddie Guerrero is. So, like, to even pretend that I can pull off like I said, some of the comedy spots, sure. I like watching William Regal. Finley, their chain wrestling, because I'm not so good at the chain. So like watching stuff I'm not so good at, that helps. I like watching stuff I'm not so good at, just because I have an appreciation for it. God, I'm sorry, I kind of fell off the rails there. Like,
no, you're fine. You're fine.
Like, yeah, I'm sorry. What was the original question? I kind of fell off the rails hard there.
Who do you draw your inspiration from for not just your move set, but like the character that you are in the ring and that kind of?
Probably subconsciously, because this gets pointed out to me by people that like watch my stuff, and then afterwards, like, hey, did you take that? I was like, oh, okay, Chris Jericho. Probably more subconsciously than anything. Like my third or fourth year, like I was like throwing a clothesline. Like I was really hard, and I was like, oh, like Chris Jericho is someone from like the back. When I got to the back, I was like, hey, Chris Jericho out there is like, because that's the thing he does. Yeah. It's like, oh, I guess that's the thing I do. I picked up that didn't even. That's the thing is with wrestling, like we steal from each other all the time. Sometimes through osmosis without even realizing it. So like that's one that I'm at least a little conscious of. Road Dogg a little bit, because like Road Dogg's not the most. He admitted it himself. He's not the best wrestler in the world, but he's into the showmanship part of it, and that's me a little bit too. I don't have a full like rhyme set. Maybe I need to develop that a little bit.
I mean, that's the one thing that, as you can tell, I am a Road Dogg fan with it's me, like, because that's what I used to do. That was my whole gimmick when I first started the whole podcasting thing. It'd be like, it's me, it's that MATT and that kind of stuff. And I get what you're saying. It's not necessarily the theatrics, but it's the presentation. And I think that's why my son enjoyed watching you specifically, because it was a show. It was that presentation. He enjoyed everything that you did in the ring and everything leading in and out of the ring as well.
Oh yeah, that's just it. Like, because like when I'm wrestling, I'm having a blast, and like I want that to transmit. Like even if like scientifically I might not be the best wrestler, like I want people to know I'm having a good time when I'm out there, and that's like my biggest like. It's all about fun, energy, and letting people have fun with me, and not all about like, oh, I need to hit this triple indie flip and do the triple sharpshooter into the crap. Like I can't even. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I really admire good technical wrestling, but like I think wrestling should be a buffet, a little bit of all of that. I respect the good technical wrestling because that is not my strong suit. Not that I can't do some of the moves, but I stick to my strong suit, and I'm sorry, guys. I'm doing bad here.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So what is your favorite body of work that you've done, or favorite match that you've been in or part of? Like, what's your most memorable and favorite match you've done?
It might be recency bias, but probably initially teaming up with Rocky Shocker, because before I started teaming up with Rocky Shocker and we became Hairly Legal, I was a bad guy. I was a heel, and I kind of really enjoyed how we did that because we were sort of forced to team. Like I wasn't, I hadn't seen the rock and roll ways. Sensei Rocky Shocker did not show me the way yet. We're forced to team in an odd couple situation. I didn't really care for him that much, but I lightened up to him, and all of a sudden I was rocking out harder than he was. And we became the tag team champions and good friends. And like, yeah, it was cool.
Scott?
So, inquiring minds want to know, what is it like to work with Michigan legends like Jeff Klaus and Jack Price?
Oh man, to see where Jack Price is now is crazy. I was around him near the beginnings of his career because he started a lot like me with MWO and IWE. He's been really busting his ass and doing the work and getting his name out there. And when I started seeing him show up on TNA, it was Impact when he got did the gut check and started seeing him on television. It was surreal because, like, I remember seeing his first bumps in the ring or at least in the MWO ring, and started out as a referee, and to see where he is now, the sky's the limit for him. He's only getting started, in my opinion. Legit, one of the most, if not the most talented person I've ever been in the ring with. I can't say enough good things about Jack Price. Jeff Klaus. I'm not going to lie. That's still kind of hard to talk about. Like, some of my first matches in the MWO were with Jeff. For those who don't know, we lost Jeff in 2020. Sorry
about that, man.
Such one of the most genuine people I've ever interacted with outside of wrestling, just in life in general. He didn't sugarcoat anything. Always told you how it is, for better or worse. Sometimes he told you some crap you needed to hear. I miss him, and I think anybody that's ever worked with him misses him too.
And that's one of those things with podcasters. I did not realize that how close you were with this guy, and to be honest, did not realize he passed in 2020. It was just a question somebody sent me to ask you. So,
oh no, it's okay. No, I a lot of good memories.
awesome.
A lot of good memories.
Awesome.
Do you have any more? Because I have the next set of questions are when it turns a little lighter and a little not so professional, and it's not all geared around wrestling.
Well, I have some wrestling questions. Okay.
Okay. All right. Cool.
All right. Somebody by the name of Michael Rhoda asked me to ask you this.
I know Michael.
Would he ever be willing to do a program with the Cupcake Officer Scott Atlas?
Okay. All right. Here's the thing about Scott Atlas. Okay. Okay. All right. Mr. Officer Scott Atlas. He had pointed out on the last podcast, on the episode that he did, that he kind of has a problem with everybody on the IWE roster because, well, jumped him in the Battle Royal. If you go back and look at the footage, I wasn't there. I was not there. I don't mess with police, okay? I will stand up to any bully, any wrongdoer. Scott, nope. I'm not trying to leave a show in handcuffs. I'm not trying to leave a show in the back seat. I'm not trying to get searched. No, up on my search whatever you need to do, Mr. Atlas. I was not there. Like Davey, I wasn't even there. It was Owen.
Yeah.
I no, I don't mess with police. So if Scott Atlas wants a match, it would be the Jeff Jarrett at the whatever pay-per-view that was with Hogan and Russo. You can have this, Atlas. I don't mess with Atlas. I don't mess with police.
It's beautiful that you did the Davy Boy thing, because that's a running gag, running joke between myself and our producer, who I'm guessing he's probably watching. But we talk about the whole when Stu called and Jim Cornette picked up the phone, and he did the whole. He thought it was someone actually. I have two messages. Someone in the chat goes, "Would you punch Scott Atlas in the face if you had the chance?"
I think I've made that clear. I am. He has my. I don't care if he bought that badge. As long as it resembles a badge, I ain't messing with him. I respect the badge. And
then we have Mr. John Campbell. He says he's not police. He's a rent-a-cop security schmuck.
Agreed.
You know what?
From middle of the mall.
That might be true. It might. However, I still don't want to roll the dice, because even if he's an observe and report guy, I don't know. Just that badge is my kryptonite.
So I got a question then. So is this Mike Rhoda? Is he a fan?
I think so.
Okay, so if fans are so important to you, right? Which they should be, because fans make the business. That's why you come out and do it. That's what everybody tells me. Could you please break a guitar over Mall Cop Cupcake over his head if that match ever comes? Someone wants you to break your damn guitar over Mall Cop's head.
Oh, what a moral conundrum. You're right. I really do want to do what the fans want, and I want to make the fans happy. And that's a real catch-22 there. Like, I don't know. If we can somehow, I don't know, maybe get Atlas in a chicken suit or take that badge away. Maybe make me forget about the fact that he's associated with police officers in any way. Maybe. Well, that's a big hang up for me to overcome. But, man, if I can overcome that, you know what? I might have to give the people what they want.
Well, what about, since you're taking the high road and not attacking a police officer, which,
on the record.
Right. That doesn't stop you from taking a shot at his stablemate, 2024. Me personally, I would love to see that. I would love to see you guys go at it. I think that would be an amazing match. And John, you're in the chat. Let's try to make that happen. I'd love to see that.
Me and 24K, we've crossed paths once before, and last weekend at Rockfest, we were actually at opposite ends in a tag team match. It was myself and Tyler Dean versus 24K and Derek Crow. 24K, man, like, talent-wise, through the roof. Like, untapped potential for 24K Kid. 24K Kid's biggest problem, though, is his attitude and the company he keeps. If he could just... I'm not going to say anything disrespectful about police, but, you are the company you keep. So...
Yeah, I got it.
Nope.
So this is where we have a little bit of fun, right? This is just a fun part of the show called Fun Questions. You're a music guy. We've established that. You have one album to listen to for the rest of your life. It's the only music you can listen to. What album are you picking?
Ooh. Ooh. Knee-jerk reaction, probably Poison's Open Up and Say Ah. I got a lot of I grew up with that song played that whole it was a cassette at the time, you know, A side, B side, old school. Yeah, that cassette got a lot of play when I was a kid and got a lot of memories tied to that whole album, so it would probably be that one.
Okay.
Every Rose Has a Thorn might get a skip though, because even I'm kind of sick of that one. Still, even if I was deserted, it might get a skip.
The one TV show that you could binge watch over and over and over again, what is it?
Ooh. Dang. I mean, is The Simpsons cheating since there's so much of it?
No, I mean,
I'm a really big fan. That's probably my go-to, my reference for most of my humor. I mean, yeah, that's probably an easy, cheap answer. I really like The Simpsons. I like Community too. That's a fun show. Yeah, is anything that's chill comedy? That's sort of my jam.
okay. Your all-time favorite movie?
Ooh.
The movie that you're like, all right, it had a week. I just want to sit and watch my favorite movie. What is it?
All right. You know what? Hold on. Let me.
We hit the we
Let me
hear
fish out a lie here. Just a minute.
We hear a Huge Pop
Suburban Commando, brother. It was the best movie of all time. A young Mark Calloway as a big alien dude. It was robbed by all the Oscars, brother. No, not really. But no. This is my Fu Manchu dude. If I'm gonna tell an answer that isn't the truth, I'm just gonna put this on. No, I don't. No, not Suburban Commando, but God, it really depends on my mood in the day. I really like SLC Punk. I just watched that the other day. Maybe that's recency bias, but that's one I go back to every other year. You know, it's not really a chill comedy by any means, but I really enjoy that movie because it's framed around like growing up. So like every few years when I go back to watch it, it makes more and more sense. I kind of like movies that with rewatchability like that. And plus, Matthew Lillard, one of the greatest actors of our generation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just hyping up Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. So the next couple is they're fun. Who is the and if you've watched any episode, you'll know the answer because there's only one answer to the next one. Even if it is an opinionated question, there's just one answer. Who is the greatest WCW champion of all time? There's only one answer.
I feel like I know you're So
it's a running joke. That's why
yes, I'm trying to fully like. I can get on board with it being David Arquette, but I'm trying to get into full lawyer mode as to why here and really put this over as a good thing. You know,
well, I can explain. I can give you my
he didn't
reasoning
ask for all
behind
the
it.
grief that he got, and it is fun to poke fun at that situation. But man, poor dude who just grew up a fan, and thought he was in a cool situation, and I don't know if it was like a dark side of the ring that covered it late, where they kind of got his side of the story. And when he talked to Booker T, he's like, "Hey, how many times have you been champion?" He was like, "Oh, I've never been champion." Oh, I feel bad. Like, that's gotta suck to be in that situation. But I mean, yeah, that was just very, very silly.
Well,
that even.
Because we legit, like I said, I'm part of the wrestling TikTok community, and we went and we booked it to where this is why he's done. Because a little backstory with David Arquette is every appearance that he made, any check that was cut from WCW, like Turner, that they gave David Arquette, he donated to a charity. He didn't pocket a single penny for his time in WCW. And to us as an internet community, we're all like, what? That makes you better than, say, Hulk Hogan or Ric Flair, because you kept that money. And that's what.
Yeah. I mean, no, I agree. That's people don't talk about that part enough.
But
the fact that he didn't really hang on to a dime of any of that money, that does say a lot about his character, and that is really commendable. Like, but no, people talk. It's like, oh, he took a dump on the legacy of the title. It's like, yeah, it was a promotional thing. I see why they did it, but like, no, like I think he's a good dude.
So the next one, do you believe?
Oh, wait. I got it. I understood. I caught what you were doing there. Oh no, like no.
See, my co-host, my brother, doesn't like Joe Hendry, and
no, okay, no, I get misinterpreted a lot. I think that's the stupidest gimmick I've seen in a while. He can wrestle, sure, but just like that, I mean, and I'm a LA Knight fan through and through. He had a song just like LA Knight had a LA Knight, yeah. So his song is why he's so popular. I did see him in the ring, and I can't say anything bad about the way he wrestles. So, but I just don't like the gimmick.
No, like he's been around doing his thing forever. UK Indies. I remember God, some time ago watching like a Simpsons video on What Culture, hosted by very young Joe Hendry. So, like, dude's been out there hustling, working hard for a while, and like, I'm happy for anybody that gets their moment in the sun. Like it's good, but
I love.
Yeah, I can see what you're talking about a little bit. Like if you try to explain to a non-wrestling fan like what a Joe Hendry is, that's a little hard. It's like, oh, he's a meme. It's a face. He sings songs. Okay. Like I get it because I'm a wrestling fan and I've been on board. I enjoy it just because like just that part of me as a kid at heart that's tickled by stupid things. Like I'll always be tickled by things that are meme worthy. But yeah, some things are a little hard to explain. But to me, that's the fun of it. But I mean, I can see where you're coming from.
So the next set, there's a 4-question. Who did it best? I have four maneuvers.
What a maneuver!
went to a Vinceism. I have 4 moves and you will give me the first person that pops in your head on who did it best.
Okay.
We'll start with an easy one, DDT. Who's the best ever at doing the DDT?
Oh, it's got to be Jake Roberts, the originator. It would almost feel like blasphemy to say. I mean, shoot, it was a finisher when he did it. Now it's borderline a transition move.
Well, yeah, unless you're Drew McIntyre and do that. The Future Shock.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, the double hook. That's the night.
Yeah.
The way Drew does it, he just puts so much onto that. Like that's a finisher.
Next up, the power bomb.
Ooh. Oh, I hate my brain. My very first knee-jerk reaction, Captain Insano. But if we're going for real wrestlers, I always liked Kevin Nash's jackknife as a fan, although as a wrestler, it looks wildly undangerous, or not undangerous, dangerous. I don't know if I'd become. Apparently, it's a safe move if done right. It just, I don't know. Nash is like 12 feet tall, so falling from that height just seems like it'd be the most devastating. Yeah, I got to go with the jackknife.
Okay. Next up, the cloverleaf / sharpshooter.
Ooh.
There's so many people that have done that, and it's.
I really liked the way Dean Malenko. Say, was his a cloverleaf or more of a? Yeah, that was a cloverleaf, right? That Dean Malenko would do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he got in there really deep, and Dean Malenko wasn't really. He was another guy I really enjoyed because I'm not that tall a guy, so anybody who's good with using their size and leverage and getting the most out of it, I really enjoy studying. Dean Malenko pops up top of my because he really got in there deep and made the most out of it, like being able to get under his opponent. Yeah, Dean Malenko because it looked the meanest.
Okay, and the last one is the choke slam.
I tell you what, recency bias, Jelly Roll can do a heck of a choke. I was rather surprised. A lot of that was Austin Theory taking it too. But no, if we're talking like actual choke slams, I always enjoyed Kane's. Atlas has a good choke slam apparently.
I don't know. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I don't. I haven't seen it either. I don't plan on being on the receiving one as is very well established. I'll put Kane up there. Maybe Atlas will be up there if I see it. Yeah. I like Kane's because Kane always had a nice stall to it and it looked good.
So, the reason I asked that question, the choke slam specifically, is because of, again, I'm reverting back to the whole TikTok community that I'm part of. And someone brought up the Hurricane doing the choke slam. And to me, I always want to get a opinion from the wrestler that actually has been in the ring, like a guy his size having to jump practically to deliver a choke slam is. I always thought it was cool looking too.
It really depends on who you're asking. Me, I like wrestling being fun. I'm for that. You know, if you're asking somebody like Jim Cornette, probably get a little bit of a different opinion. And I can definitely understand why that mindset would, because I mean, if you're looking at it like, this is supposed to be a movie, that's just kind of a silly thing that takes you out of it. But to me, it doesn't take me out of it. It lets me have more fun. Yeah, I like that because, like, yeah, I'm a superhero, super strength, like that. Wrestling and being over the top, to me, that's what wrestling is supposed to be, just over the top fun. Yeah, I'm for it. I'm for the Hurricanes choke slam.
Okay. The one last question before we start sort of wind down here, and it is probably the most bizarre question that you'll ever hear on a podcast.
Oh boy.
It's probably the most bizarre question that you'll be asked in the near future. Hard-hitting stuff here on Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast Beyond the Mat, by the way, guys. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Hard-hitting stuff here, fellas. Hard-hitting stuff.
I was going to be disappointed if you didn't ask that question.
All right. Technically, I would say from a technical standpoint, yeah, sure. I mean, like if you're asking, like, gun to my head, like, is a hot dog a sandwich? I'm gonna say yeah, just by technical definition, I guess. However, if you're eating a hot dog and you have a hot dog in your hand, it's like, hey guys, look at my sandwich. I'm judging you, like, a lot, because like nobody that I've ever been around has ever referred to a hot dog as like, fine, if it's technically that, okay, but like, what are you doing calling it that? Like, weirdo. Who does that?
Matt just left out the better part of it. That him and his buddy, our producer Cody, had on a screen, is a taco a sandwich? You're gonna look like, oh, look at my sandwich. No, you're gonna look. People are gonna look at you like, no, that's
yeah. I mean, kind of the same thing. Like, if you, it's like, hey guys, look at my sandwich. Like, did you fall and land on your head recently? Like, okay,
did someone throw a brick
we'll go
at
with
you?
it.
Did some mall cop arrest you or something?
You know what? I'll let him enjoy his tortilla sandwich in peace.
Is a Crunchwrap Supreme a sandwich? Is in the chat. That's.
Oh my god.
I mean, we're really pushing it. There is a state our producer just put in here. It is recognized by a state in the U.S. as a sandwich. That hot dog and a taco are recognized in a specific state. We haven't figured it out yet.
Probably Buffalo.
Yeah, probably New York. Probably New York State. That
I don't know what state I gotta avoid, but
in the upstate New York area.
What was that? I'm sorry.
No. It's an inside joke between Cody and I. He lived in upstate New York. Not really.
Okay.
He lived in Buffalo, but I'd say it's upstate. Anyway, because he says I'm from Detroit when I live in Clare, so it's,
Okay, that's not even close. Come on, yeah.
Right.
You might as well say he's from Toronto.
I mean, yeah.
Not really, but that's quite a bit further. But
he's in East Toronto.
Right.
So before we take off, you have a show coming up in October 5th. I was really looking forward to being there. My son plays at 4:00. My son plays football at 4:00 in the afternoon. We get done at 6, so it's almost an hour and a half drive to get there. So we probably won't make bell time. So
hey, that's completely understandable. Like, in things like athletics, man, like we're gonna be there next month. There's always gonna be next time. Like that stuff's important.
But before we end the show, I'm going to give you the floor to cut a promo that on anybody or on anything that you would like to cut your promo on. The floor is yours.
Yeah, just in general, I think us as wrestlers and even wrestling fans and anyone watch it, like I said earlier, we like to fight with each other a lot. As passionate as wrestling fans can be, sometimes like, you go online, the comment section of like anything wrestling related, like stuff gets really nasty that gets thrown around, and like, screw this promotion, I'm not watching it's like, there's so much hate involved with like what I'm watching and not watching. And I guess like, if anything, just like, I wish more people can learn to say, hey, this isn't for me, and just watch what they want to get. Like, the point of like watching wrestling, enjoying wrestling, like, it's supposed to be an escape from life, not just something else to moan and complain about. It just, I see a lot of complaining in the wrestling community, and I just wish it wasn't like this is supposed to be fun. We're supposed to be having a good time, and just support what you want to support. And if you don't like what you're seeing, just don't watch it. Just don't waste negative energy on stuff you don't like, and put in the energy of stuff that you do like, because this is a fun escape for all of us. Wrestling, in my opinion, the best form of entertainment on the planet. I want to contribute to it as best as I can. I'm not trying to bring any negativity to wrestling. I want it to be positive for everybody. I want it to be fun for everybody. Wrestling shows are cool to go to because you see people cheering, booing stuff they don't like and if you look around at a wrestling crowd, it's people from all walks of life, and even a wrestling locker room, no matter who you vote for, where you come from, how much money you have, none of that stuff matters. We're all just wrestling fans enjoying wrestling, and that's what I love about it. And I just wish we'd stop fighting with each other so much. I guess that's really all I got.
Oh no, we deal with this. We deal with the same kind of stuff on a daily. We are part of the IWC. We are part of the internet wrestling community. Is as toxic as they come. And we try not to be as toxic and whatnot about, because I'm one who okay, my son's 11 years old. He'll be 12 in November. And I try to watch wrestling like he should be watching wrestling as a kid. Because I think as the IWC in general, we all think we're the next Dave Meltzer, Sean Ross Sapp, the Jim Cornettes of the world, the guys who just tear everything down but don't enjoy what it is. And like what Triple H said a few months back, wrestling, the WWE is a television show about professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And I wish people would understand that it's what it is. It's a show. It's an athletic performance, yes, but it's a show that we need to just enjoy. And if you don't like like you said, if you don't like what you're watching.
Yes. Yeah. And especially nowadays, there are tons and tons of alternatives. If you're not a fan of WWE, there's AEW. You don't like AEW, that stuff's a little too light. There's GCW, and all kinds of independents. There's a lot of options out there, probably now more than ever, that are accessible and are on YouTube. There's tons of companies that I've never even heard of that are accessible to me. There's so much wrestling you can watch. So why would you spend time watching stuff you don't watch? It just seems bonkers to me.
And you're right. I downloaded an app called Independent Wrestling. I did not realize how many independent wrestling promotions there are in the United States.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
Right. And I love what you said, Matt. I love what you said, Cody. Let us be fans, and the most recent topic is, did AEW go too far? Well, that gets blown way out of proportion. You either like AEW, don't like AEW, but let us all be fans. Let us have our own opinions. But like Matt said, it gets so toxic it's almost like you can't have your own opinion.
Oh
That's what's sad about it.
And a lot of that, it's a thing. A lot of wrestling fans share, myself included. We all think to an extent, what we see what's booked and what's out there is like, I can do this a little bit better. I can put my spin on this, and that discourse is healthy, and that's why it's cool to be a fan. Talking about fantasy booking and what if situations, but man, that can get out of control really quick, and the tribalism I see happening, like I see a lot of AEW sucks, WWE sucks, all this sucks. It's like,
so
just don't watch, jeez.
In closing, I want to say thank you for taking an hour to hang out with us today. Thank you for everything that you do, putting on the show that you do for everyone, the IWE universe. And again, just thank you. Thank you for being an entertainer. Thank you for letting us escape into your escape.
Well, thank you for having me on. I do apologize, for moments where I might not have been the best conversation. Like I said, this isn't really, my biggest comfort too. I don't do things like that too often, or things like these podcasts too often. Because to me, I've wrestled for so long. I don't want to say it's easy because there's always those butterflies, but I've gotten pretty used to, getting into the character, going through the curtain and performing into the ring. This is very different. Thank you guys for walking me through this process. Thank you guys for doing what you do, giving people like me a platform to just talk about our experience and tell our stories. I don't get a whole lot of chances to, talk to people like this. So this is pretty cool. It's nice getting to meet you guys, and we'll have to do this again sometime when, got a little bit of the edge off, a little bit of the first show jitters out of the way.
Oh, absolutely. Like I told John, like I told Officer Scott Atlas, you guys are welcome back to our home anytime you want. And I just actually, on the way home, booked our next week's guest.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure he says he's the he's one of the voices of the IWE universe. James Walter will be on the show next week.
Oh, Axel Gear. I'm familiar with this. Yeah, you're gonna have a good time talking to him. He goes way, before IWE. He's been around a long time. He's got some stories to tell.
So I just booked him.
Hopefully
on the
a better
way.
Conversation than me.
Oh no, you were great. You were a lot of fun.
Oh.
Again, thank you. I have to cut it out here in a minute so I can go get my kid from school.
Absolutely.
Thank you again, and I will be in contact to book you get you back on here in a few months or so. And again, thank you.
Appreciate you, sirs.
Thank you, sir.